A long time ago, in the ancient village of Oru, the world was divided by power. The rich ruled like kings, and the poor lived like shadows, forbidden to speak, forbidden to raise their heads, forbidden to dream. In Oru, the poor were not just ignored, they were owned. A poor man dared not lift his eyes to his master, and a single mistake could cost a life. This is the Nook of ancient and modern tales, where the forgotten stories of our ancestors rise again. If you're new here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Now, let us begin. Among the rulers of Oru village was Chief Odogwu, the richest of them all, father of Amarachi, the most beautiful girl in the village. She was admired by all and already promised to the son of a powerful warlord. That man was Chief Okwaraji, an undefeated warlord whose armies crushed nations. Wealth and war had formed an alliance. Together, they controlled Oru with iron fists. To seal their pact, Amarachi was promised to Ikena, the warlord's son. But Ikena was everything Amarachi despised: lazy, drunk, and entitled. Amarachi often whispered to herself, "If I had a choice, I would never marry him." And her prayer was answered, in the form of music. For in the slave quarters lived Obinna, a gifted young musician, who is one of the poor slaves owned by Amarachi's father. His voice could melt stone, and his Kora could calm storms. One afternoon, while playing in Chief Odogwu's compound, he saw Amarachi. One note from his instrument, and her heart betrayed every law of the land. She began visiting him in secret, listening to his voice night after night. Breaking every rule, she let him into her world and into her heart. She fell in love with the slave, forgetting that she had already been promised to the warlord's son. That night, her fingers brushed his as he played the Kora, and neither of them pulled away. Obinna tried to resist, but love had already claimed him. They make love there and spend the night together, but eyes in Oru were sharp. Ikena, who was drunk and wandering around, watched everything from the window. He couldn't believe his eyes, and he said, "How could an ordinary slave touch a woman who was promised to me? I would not let this slide, and I would let him know that my father is the ruler of this village." The next day, he cornered Amarachi in the garden, reeking of palm wine. "Stay away from that slave," he spat. "You belong to me, and you must never let him touch you again, nor enter your hut. You belong to me, and no other man has the right to touch you as long as I live." "Belong to you?" she shouted. "I'd rather die than marry a drunk like you." Her words broke him, and from the broken pieces, he built revenge. A few days later, a grand meeting was called between the two great families. Obinna was summoned to sing before them. Amarachi watched him with unhidden love, and everyone noticed. Ikena, who had been watching with burning hatred and twisted jealousy, plotting in silence, imagining 100 ways to destroy Obinna, suddenly staggered. His legs buckled beneath him, and before anyone could understand what was happening, he crashed to the ground and let out a piercing scream. "Obinna poisoned me," Ikena cried. "I caught him forcing himself on Amarachi, the woman already promised to me, and he threatened to kill me if anyone should hear of it." "Chief Okwaraji," the warlord roared, "a slave tried to kill my son. He dies at dawn. It would be a lesson to all slaves in the land not to dare to defy their master nor touch their master's property." Warriors seized Obinna, chaining him like a criminal. Amarachi lunged, screaming for them to stop, shouting that Obinna would never do that. She rushed to her father, telling him to stop the warlord, that Ikenna lied against him. Obinna was thrown into the war chief's pit, a place no one returned from. He lay there in darkness, thinking of Amarachi's tears. Hours passed. Silence thickened. Only Obinna's heartbeat filled the darkness. Then footsteps echoed above. Slow, deliberate, mocking.
The darkness.
Ikenna looked down and whispered,
Suffering
"Yes,
just begun.
I lied, and tomorrow your head will roll."
Why, Ikenna? What have I done to you?
Because she chose you, a slave, over Emmy.
I lied. No poison. No threat. Tomorrow, they cut off your head.
And with a drunken laugh, Ikenna turned away, leaving Obinna to the darkness as he staggered into the night. Alone in the darkness, Obinna listened to his own heartbeat and wondered how love had led him here. But Amarachi did not sleep. She wiped her tears, gathered her courage, and chose love over fear. With only the night as her witness, she ran barefoot through shadows, toward the pit where Obinna waited.
Amarachi, is that you?
I'm going to get you out. I swear it.
Obinna.
But before she could lift it, a voice thundered from the darkness. Her father, Chief Odogwu, stepped forward. "Amarachi, what are you doing here?" She turned to him, tears flooding again. "Father, he's innocent. Please." Odogwu looked away, tormented. "The war chief has spoken," he said quietly. "At dawn, the boy dies." Amarachi screamed, pounding on his chest. "You know he's innocent. You know!" Her cries echoed through the compound, and the guards began to approach. He bent down beside her and whispered, "Run home, child, before the war chief sees you." But Amarachi did not
Let him
move.
see my truth.
"Then let him see me," she said. "Let him see my truth."
I love you.
Her father trembled. Never had she defied him. Never like this.
I love him.
"I love him," she confessed,
I love
her voice breaking, but unshaken. At dawn, Obinna was dragged through the village square, chains clattering like death bells. Every step echoed across Oru. Every chain reminded the slaves of what they were allowed to be. Nothing. Suddenly, a scream tore through the crowd. "Obinna!" Amarachi broke free from her guards and ran barefoot and fearless toward the execution platform. Before all of Oru, love ran faster than death. She leapt onto the platform, grabbed a fallen cutlass, and stood before Obinna like a living shield. "If you want to kill him," she cried, her voice shaking the heavens, "you will kill me first." For one heartbeat, the world froze. Even the warriors did not know how to strike a chief's daughter. Then Ikenna's voice shattered the silence, cruel, desperate, venomous. "Finish it," he roared. "She has chosen death. Honor her choice." Steel flashed. The executioner's blade swung toward Obinna. Amarachi raised her cutlass to block. The force was too strong. The blade slid past her guard and pierced her heart. She collapsed into Obinna's arms. Blood stained his chains and his soul. He held her as life faded from her eyes, kissed her one last time, and whispered her name. Then, with shattered resolve, Obinna lifted the executioner's blade and drove it into his own heart. They fell together. Silence. Then a scream rose from the slave ranks, raw, furious, unstoppable. Obinna's death shattered fear itself. The slaves rose like a storm. Masters were dragged from their thrones. Chief Okwaraji fell. Ikenna fell screaming. Only Chief Odogwu survived, alive, broken, and haunted. And that day, slavery died in Oru. Where the lovers fell, a monument now stands. Obinna holding Amarachi beneath the rising sun. And on quiet nights, when the wind moves gently through the trees, villagers still hear the soft melody of a Kora drifting through the air. A love song, a mourning song, a song that freedom remembers.